Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Imagine this. You're digging through your change jar, maybe grabbing a quarter for the parking meter, and bam, you realize you're holding a coin worth $1.7 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, it's not as far-fetched as you think. Today, we're talking about one of the most valuable modern quarters out there, the 1999 Pennsylvania quarter. Now, if you're like me, you probably spent these quarters without a second thought back in the day. But some lucky folks are cashing in big time on this rare find. So grab a seat, maybe even a magnifying glass, and let's dive into why this coin is worth a small fortune. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, a guy at a flea market picked up a handful of old coins for just a few bucks. Nothing special, just your average pocket change. But when he got home and examined them, he noticed something odd about one quarter. It was a 1999 Pennsylvania quarter with a striking error. He took it to a coin dealer, and guess what? That little quarter ended up being worth over $1 million. Now imagine how many times he probably passed up a similar coin before checking. Now, let's break it down. What makes this 1999 Pennsylvania quarter worth a staggering $1.7 million? Some of these quarters were struck on experimental planchets or had dramatic die errors, making them incredibly rare. If you've got one in top-notch condition, think him as 67 or higher, collectors will pay an absolute fortune. While millions were minted, only a handful of these valuable errors have been confirmed. If your quarter's design is way off center, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Look for doubled images, especially in the words United States of America or Pennsylvania. Some of these quarters were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets, making them incredibly valuable. So, what's the deal with the $1.7 million price tag? Well, a perfect condition error coin was recently sold at an auction for just that. Even less pristine versions can fetch tens of thousands. Coin collectors and investors are always on the hunt for these rarities, so if you find one, you could be in for a serious payday. Grab your loose change. Go through your old jars, piggy banks, and glove compartments. Use a magnifying glass. Look for errors, especially around the edges and lettering. Weigh your coin. Some errors involve incorrect metal compositions, so a digital scale can help. Compare with known error examples. Check auction sites or coin collector forums for reference images. Too many people find a slightly worn 1999 quarter and think they've hit the jackpot. But condition and errors matter. Always get a professional appraisal before assuming you're a millionaire. Wrapping up. Alright, folks, if you learned something new today, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more coin hunting tips. You never know, your next quarter might just be worth a fortune. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found an unusual quarter. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey there, folks. Imagine this. You're digging through your loose change, looking for a dollar for the vending machine, and bam, you spot an old quarter. But what if I told you that dusty old quarter could be worth $1.80 million? That's right, today, we're talking about the 2006 South Dakota quarter, one of the most valuable modern quarters out there. A quarter? Worth nearly $2 million? Are you pulling my leg? But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, where to find these rare coins, and how to turn a simple 25 cents into a life-changing fortune. So, grab your coin jars, check under the couch cushions, and let's dive in. A few years back, I was at a flea market, casually looking through a box of old coins. I wasn't expecting much, just some pocket change and maybe a cool old penny. But then, this guy next to me picks up a quarter, examines it under a magnifying glass, and nearly faints. Turns out, he had just found a rare quarter worth tens of thousands of dollars in a random junk box. Ever since then, I've made it my mission to educate people about rare and valuable coins. And let me tell you, the 2006 South Dakota quarter is one you definitely want to keep an eye out for. The 2006 South Dakota quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each state got its own quarter, and South Dakota's features an American bison, Mount Rushmore, and wheat stalks. Pretty fitting for the state, right? While millions of these coins were made, only a handful have a unique error or rare mint condition that skyrockets their value. That's why some of these coins are selling for insane amounts at auctions, one even reaching $1.80 million. Alright, here's where things get exciting. If you're holding a 2006 South Dakota quarter, check for these key features. This means it was struck in Philadelphia. If it's a Denver, D, or San Francisco, S mint, it's still valuable, but not in the $1 million club. Look for things like double die errors, where the design appears doubled, off-center strikes, or missing details. These mistakes can make your coin significantly more valuable. Coins graded MS68 or higher, meaning near perfect condition, are worth a fortune. If your quarter looks flawless, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Some of these were accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet instead of the normal clad composition. If you have one, you're sitting on a gold mine, or, well, a silver mine now, before you start thinking, well, great, but I don't have one of these. Let me tell you, these coins are still out there. Always check before you spend that quarter. Banks often have rolls of quarters that haven't been searched through yet. Some of the best coin finds come from places where people don't realize what they have. You'd be surprised what pops up on eBay and other coin-selling sites. So, how much are these quarters actually selling for? Well, in top condition, one sold for $1.8 million at auction. But even lower-grade versions with minor errors can fetch thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars. And let's not forget about those proof and silver error versions, which are selling for anywhere from $500 to $50,000 depending on rarity and condition. A simple 25-cent coin could be worth millions if you know what to look for. Go check your change right now. Dig through those old jars, ask your friends, check under the car seats. Who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune and not even realize it. And if you think you found something valuable, leave a comment down below and let me know. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more coin hunting tips. Because, folks, I don't know about you, but I'd rather find $1 million quarter than spend it on a pack of gum. Hey guys, welcome back. So you've got a pile of quarters lying around, right? And maybe, just maybe, you're wondering if any of them are worth a small fortune. Well, today we're diving into one coin that has caught the attention of collectors and could very well be hiding in your pocket right now. The 2000 South Carolina quarter. Yeah, you heard that right. This unassuming quarter, with a mint mark that most of us barely even notice, is worth a whopping $1.9 million. Now, that's not something you come across every day. You're probably thinking, how in the world did a quarter end up worth more than a house? Well, settle in, because we're about to break down exactly why this coin is so valuable and how you can spot one of your own. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be flipping through your quarters with a little more attention to detail. So, let's start with a bit of background on the South Carolina State Quarter. Released in 2000, it's part of the 50-state quarters program. For those of you who remember, the U.S. Mint released a new quarter for each state between 1999 and 2008, and each one had its own unique design. The Carolina Wren, a state bird that's known for its catchy little song, perched on a palmetto tree. Pretty cool, right? You've got the bird, the tree, and a bit of history all wrapped up in one coin. And of course, the word South Carolina in bold letters, along with The Palmetto State. As the state motto at first glance, this coin may seem just like any other state quarter. But here's where it gets interesting. Only a certain number of these quarters were minted in Philadelphia with a P mint mark, and that's where the rarity factor kicks in. Now, this is the part where it gets really juicy. The reason this coin is so valuable is due to its rarity. You see, the 2000 South Carolina quarter, unlike its counterparts, was struck with a very limited number of coins, and here's where it gets interesting. Most of the 2000 South Carolina quarters were minted in Denver, and the ones from the Philadelphia Mint are few and far between. The Mint produced around 4.9 billion state quarters in total, but only a small portion of them were struck in Philadelphia, making those with a P mint mark much rarer. Now, most of these quarters didn't even make it into circulation. They were either stored away, forgotten, or even melted down over time. The ones that made it to collectors' hands are the ones that have been kept in pristine condition. But, as with all rare items, it's not just about how rare the coin is. Condition matters too. So, let's talk condition. You've got your rare coin, but it's not just about having one in your collection. It's about the quality of the coin. The 2000 South Carolina quarter, like many valuable coins, is most sought after when it's in mint condition, meaning it's almost flawless. The better the condition, the higher the value. In coin collecting, we often talk about grades, which tell you how good a coin looks. The highest grade a coin can receive is MS 70, mint state 70, which means it's perfect, not a single scratch or imperfection. If you have one of these 2000 South Carolina quarters that is graded near perfect, it could be worth a lot of money, like $1.90 million. So, when you're going through your quarters, here's what to look for. Look for clean lines on the design, especially on the Carolina wren and the palmetto tree. The more defined and sharp these details are, the better. Any wear or tarnishing on the coin reduces its value significantly. The more it's been used, the less it's worth. A beautiful, glossy shine indicates a coin that's been well preserved. If you find one of these quarters in mint condition, you might just have a collector's dream. But even if you have a rare, mint condition 2000 South Carolina quarter, there's still one more factor that determines its worth: demand. And this coin? It's in high demand. Collectors are always looking for these state quarters, especially the ones that are rarer, and this particular coin has a massive following. In fact, the 2000 South Carolina quarter with that mint mark has fetched prices as high as $1.9 million in auctions. That's right, this isn't just a nice-to-have collector's item. It's a serious investment for anyone who understands the value of rare coins. So, why does this coin command such a price? It's a combination of its rarity, its historical significance, and the fact that there are fewer and fewer of them in circulation. Coins like this one are like hidden treasure. They're part of a bigger puzzle in the world of numismatics. That's the fancy word for coin collecting. When you add a coin like this to your collection, you're not just holding on to a quarter, you're holding a piece of history that's increasing in value by the year. Now, I know you're probably wondering, how in the world do I find one of these? The truth is, finding a 2000 South Carolina quarter in mint condition isn't easy. They didn't make a ton of them, and the ones that did make it out there are in the hands of serious collectors. But that doesn't mean all hope is lost. Here are some tips for finding one of these valuable quarters. It might seem crazy, but it's always worth it to look through your change when you get it. You might just come across one in your pocket or at the local store. Some coin dealers may have them in stock, especially if they're dealing with higher-end collectibles. Websites like eBay sometimes have these coins up for auction. You'll want to do your research and check the coin's condition before bidding. So, there you have it. The 2000 South Carolina quarter is more than just a regular quarter. It's a coin that could be worth $1.9 million if you find one in the right condition. It's an exciting time to be a coin collector, and even more exciting if you happen to find one of these gems in your own collection or change. If you have any of these quarters, take a good look at them. Who knows, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. And remember, with coin collecting, patience and a keen eye are key. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2000p South Carolina quarter. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you've ever come across any rare coins. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're anything like me, you love a good treasure hunt, and today, I'm bringing you a piece of American history that could put some serious cash in your pocket. Yeah, I'm talking about the 1995 D Washington $quarter coin. And trust me, you'll want to hear how this little coin is now worth a staggering $2.20 million. I know, it sounds crazy, but stick around, because we're diving deep into why this coin is one of the most valuable quarters you'll ever come across. I've been collecting coins for years now. I remember my first big find was a 1932 quarter. It wasn't worth $2 million, but at the time, I felt like I struck gold. Fast forward to today, and I've learned so much more about rare coins and their values, and let me tell you, finding a coin like the 1995 D Washington quarter is like hitting the jackpot. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, this coin is one you definitely want to keep an eye on. Grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's break down how this quarter went from ordinary to extraordinary. Alright, let's start with the basics. What makes the 1995 D Washington quarter so special? On the surface, it might seem like just another quarter, right? I mean, it's not one of those rare dates like 1932 or 1964. And it doesn't have any super obvious errors, or does it? The 1995 D quarter, like most of the modern coins, is made from a copper nickel clad. It's got George Washington's portrait on the front, and the back features the classic eagle and shield design. It's the 1995 D with a unique twist. The thing is, there are actually very few of these quarters out there in top-grade condition, and that's what makes them so valuable. Most of the 1995 D quarters are just regular circulation coins, but a small percentage of them are in absolutely perfect condition, or mint state. In fact, there's one rare variety that has caught the attention of coin enthusiasts and collectors, and that's the one that fetches those big bucks. Now, let's talk about why the 1995 D Washington quarter is worth a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. First off, the primary reason for its high value is its rarity in perfect condition. You see, the minting process isn't always flawless. Sometimes, the coins come out with small imperfections, scratches, smudges, or discoloration. But every so often, a coin emerges that's flawless, as if it was created by a magical process of coin minting perfection. In 1995, the U.S. Mint struck a batch of Washington quarters at the Denver Mint, and most of them went into circulation. But a few of these coins slipped through the cracks and survived in pristine, untouched condition. These coins are now what coin collectors call MS-68 or higher. MS stands for mint state, and 68 is a grade on the Sheldon scale, with 70 being the highest possible grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. And when a 1995 D Washington quarter hits MS-68 or higher, its value skyrockets. Where do you find these elusive gems? Well, it's a bit of a treasure hunt. It's not like you can just walk into a store and buy one, right? Most of the 1995 D quarters you'll find are just your standard circulating coins. But if you're looking to find one of these million-dollar beauties, you'll need to sift through your change or check out online auctions, coin shows, and dealers. But it's not just about finding any 1995 D Washington quarter. You need to find one in exceptional condition. A lot of collectors will hunt for quarters that have been well kept, ones that might have been stashed away in a collection or carefully preserved over the years. But the truly rare ones, the ones worth millions, are those that have survived in mint condition, without a single blemish. So, if you've got any old change kicking around in your drawers, pockets, or coin jars, you might just have a small fortune hiding there. Now, let's talk about the current market value. As of today, if you manage to find a 1995 D Washington quarter in perfect condition, we're talking MS-68 or higher, it could be worth a staggering $2.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. This coin is sold at auctions for millions, and it's all because of that perfect grade. But how can a coin go from being worth just 25 cents to being worth millions? It all comes down to rarity and demand. There are only a few of these coins out there that are in the right condition, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on one. That makes this coin one of the most sought after in recent years, and if you find one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. I know, you might be wondering, what's so special about a quarter for 1995? Why does it command such an insane price? Well, the rarity is a huge factor, but there's more to it than that. Coins like this aren't just valuable because they're rare. They represent a piece of American history. When you hold a 1995 D Washington quarter in your hand, you're holding a coin that was minted during a specific time in our nation's past, and the fact that it has survived in such pristine condition just makes it even more fascinating. For coin collectors, there's something almost magical about finding a coin that survived all these years without being damaged. It's a reminder that sometimes, the rarest treasures are the ones we least expect. And for those of us who love this hobby, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. The thrill of the chase makes it all the more rewarding when you find something truly valuable. The 1995 D Washington $quarter coin, worth a whopping $2.2 million in perfect condition. If you come across one of these beauties, you could be holding on to a fortune. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find one in your pocket change tomorrow, but you never know. Keep an eye out, dig through your spare change, and who knows, you could be the next lucky person to strike it rich with one of these rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more coin hunting adventures. I'll be back soon with more tips, tricks, and stories from the world of coin collecting. And if you've found any rare coins yourself, share your stories in the comments. I love hearing about everyone's coin hunts and finds. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine this, you're digging through your old change jar, and bam! You spot an unassuming 1988 P Washington quarter. You think, just another quarter. But hold on. What if I told you that tiny piece of metal could be worth a staggering $2.3 million? That's right, folks. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this legendary quarter, how to spot one, and how you could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. So grab a seat, and let's talk about money that jingles and folds. I'll never forget the time a buddy of mine called me up, practically hyperventilating. "I think I just found $1 million quarter," he screamed. I laughed. "Yeah, sure, and I have a golden penny." But then, he sent me a picture, and my jaw hit the floor. He had a 1988 P quarter with some peculiar details. Long story short, he got it authenticated, and let's just say, he doesn't have to worry about gas prices anymore. Could this happen to you? Let's find out. Not every 1988 P quarter is a jackpot winner. So what makes this one worth a life-changing amount of money? Coins worth big money usually have rare errors. Look for misstrikes, doubling, off-centers, or any funky details that don't seem right. While most quarters from this era were made of copper nickel, some were accidentally struck on silver planchets from previous coin runs. If yours is silver, jackpot. The sharpness of the details matters. A 1988 P with a crisp, bold strike and no major damage? That's prime money-making condition. Look for doubling on George Washington's face, the word liberty, or in God we trust. If the design isn't perfectly centered, you might have a rarity. If your quarter weighs differently than normal, it could be on a foreign or silver planchet. Sometimes, the P was struck more than once, leaving a slight shadow effect. A standard 1988 P quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, you might have something special. Use a jeweler's loupe or microscope to inspect the details. Look for doubling or anomalies. If your quarter has a solid silver edge, congratulations. You may have hit the jackpot. If your coin checks out, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its rarity. Now let's talk money. The most valuable 1988 P Washington quarter sold at auction for $2.3 million because of its minting error and condition. Other rare variations have sold for anywhere between $10,000 and $500,000. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these coins, especially if they're in MS67 or higher condition, which means virtually flawless. If you think you've got a valuable 1988 P quarter, here's what to do. Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, and Great Collections are the big players in selling rare coins. If you're confident in your coin's authenticity, you can sell it online, but beware of scammers. A local coin dealer can help appraise and even purchase your coin. Cleaning can significantly decrease their value. Store rare finds in protective holders to avoid damage. Always get a professional opinion before selling. So now you know. That 1988 P Washington quarter in your pocket might just be your golden ticket. Check your spare change, go through old jars, and if you find something that looks unusual, take the time to investigate. Who knows? You might be sitting on $2.3 million. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a treasure hunting tip. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let me know in the comments.